Good morning, Blue from Blue's Allotment. As you know, it's been quite frosty the last couple of 3 days, so I've had to do a few jobs and keep everything cosy. So I've just put some fleece on top of my red beet. The new potatoes aren't up yet, so I haven't got to worry about them. And in the greenhouse, we've had a little extra things in here. So in here we've got some spring sprouting broccoli, which is too cold to put them out at the moment. So I'm leaving them in the greenhouse, but they're soon going outside. And I've also got some broccoli, summer broccoli, which is about the same. So the next couple of weeks, if the weather gets right, I'll be planting them out. My next job now is to set these seeds out in a tray for the bees. As it says, nature's little helpers, Rudbeckia. So you should set them in March, so they should be okay in the next 4 weeks. So this is how I'm going to do it. I've already got the soil in the greenhouse. I just fill this tray up. It's my little seed box that I bought for £1 off the market. Best thing I ever had. So you tip them in there. You can look in there, you'll see the different size seed holes. So I want to look for a small hole, which is probably about that one. Let's see how that works. So I need to just put a little soil on top now so they germinate hopefully very quickly. So this is what we do. I'm just firming it down now. Finally give it a drop of water. I didn't do too much because the compost is already quite damp. So, but now I'm going to cover it with cling fill to keep the heat in for a week, and then that will help germinate quickly. Well, you could just stick it in the ground, but you have to wait till the end of April. This way you get it quicker and it's more regimented, isn't it? So these are all covered and they should germinate within 10 to 14 days, I would have thought, because we're now into March, so we should get some nice weather. If it's cold, that'll probably take longer because there's no heat in this greenhouse. So the last thing to do is just put a label on it so you don't forget what you've got in there. Just writing the label out, and I've got to look at the label because that's a Rudbeckia and I can't spell that. That's not my forte, spelling. So I'm going to copy the label. That's another job finished. Just got to wait for the results now. So these are a couple of little handy tools I picked up along the way from the garden centre, which is handy for dibbing your plants out. Once the seedlings are big enough to handle, I just use this tool and this one to lift them out of one tray and put them in another one to give them a better chance. And then from there we dib them out in the field or in the allotment. These are the lettuces which I'd done last week. So you just dib a hole with that and then lift your plant out like so with that tool, very gradually, and then make a hole, put it in, and just knead it in with that, just like that. These are red beet I planted under the glass, and you can see by how they've grown. The others went out on the field, on the allotment. I've covered them up with fleece, but these are under glass and they just grow twice as fast under glass, just warm. And these are the lettuces I put in 2 weeks ago out of the greenhouse, reared them in the greenhouse, it's plants, and then we just replanted it under the glass. And again, you can see how they're growing fairly fast under glass. Right, I've just brought this compost bin back into play because it was covering the rhubarb up. So now I've lifted it off the rhubarb and just started to fill it up with waste, leaves and what have you. Fill this up over summer with the waste vegetables and that what don't get eaten. And I shred them up and put them in there, and that'll be ready for a bit of compost next year. Hi, Blue from Blue's Allotment, back on here, just trying to get a few jobs done. I've got a flowering currant bush here, which will attract the birds. Don't bear fruit, but a lovely blossom. And I've got a space here. I'm going to set it, fill the gap up. Now we're going to add a bit of compost, give it a bit of base, get the roots a good start. Teasing the roots out. We've got a few weeds in there. Do away with them. And then we've got some good soil, compost, give it a good start. Bit more water. That's it. Hopefully it grows. Last week we lifted the shutter off the rhubarb, which we forced, and harvested the best of that. Now I've lifted the whole root out today and split it up into two. So this was the original root, which was twice the size of this, and to give it a rest, I've dug the whole thing up, cut it in half, put half back in the hole of the original hole, and then I got the other half around the corner here, which is there, which will add to my crop next year. Didn't do anything special, only lifted it out, dug round it, lifted it out, and then cut it in half with my spade. So that was in two halves, and then reset it in two different holes. Around the edge of my allotment, some random plants growing. Some of them I don't know what they are, but these ones here are yellow flowers which grow to about 4 foot high with yellow flowers on them. So I've split them up and just scattered them all round so I get more flowers around my allotment. Give it more colour, more for the bees and everything, make everything nice. As you can see, the raspberries are now started with the warm weather. That's started to grow throughout the whole allotment. So hopefully we get a good crop of them this year. So these are an extra few lettuces I put in out of the greenhouse today. So that makes the frame now is full up. And I've got 3 different sizes of lettuce. So you'll get lettuce as a continuation. When one goes, so you get the next one, then the next one. And as you can see, they're all slightly different sizes, so hopefully we're going to get a continuation of lettuces once they mature. So I've got 2 tumbling tomatoes here that I'll put in hanging baskets, because I was going to put them outside and decided to put them in the greenhouse, because they just hang over, and then they're very they have a good crop, heavy crop as they are. So I've done them. I've also sowed some more seed, lettuces and broccoli. So I've been busy in here today, just keeping things going. So that's it for the day, folks. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you next time.